introduce the final speaker for the day, Richard Golinowski. Mr. Golinowski is Vice President and Airport Manager at Dulles International, which includes the airport, Dulles Toll Road, and Dulles International Airport Access Highway. Prior to assuming this position in September 2021, he served as Vice President for Operations Support. He joined the Airports Authority in February 1995 and previously held management positions at Reagan National Airport for resource support, engineering and maintenance, and airport operations. Prior to joining the Airports Authority, he worked as a consulting engineer and served as the manager of the facilities engineering group for his firm. Mr. Golinowski is a graduate of Virginia Tech and is a registered professional engineer in the Commonwealth of Virginia.
Thank you, Claire. And it was nice to hear that you travel all the way from Richmond to come up here. We have people from DCA that don't want to travel out to this airport. Thank you very much. And I'm from DCA. You would think people want to come. Anyway, before I get started, I just want to recognize a few people again. Senator Boysko for joining us today. Thank you very much. And two of our leadership team, Kate Hanley and Mark Unkerford from our board. Nothing gets done without good leadership. And we have a phenomenal board of directors for the authority. And sometimes you might ask them on the side what it's like to be on our board. Our board is very diverse because it comes from Maryland, Virginia, and DC. Sometimes challenging, but their experience brings it all together and keeps the airport moving in the right direction. So I want to thank you all. So a couple things. The first slide here is very interesting. You may have heard about it. This is Lego, Dulles Lego Dulles. It's prepared by a gentleman by the name of Richard Pauls of DC. He's an engineer and he runs his own construction business. And he spent the last 9 months, I should say, building this replica of Dulles Airport. And it's pretty amazing. You may have seen a video of it on TV. The detail involved in this structure is just absolutely phenomenal. And it takes up an area about 4x8 piece of plywood. He's got everything. He even has air traffic control tower people in the tower. He has a mobile lounge that moves. He has aircraft. He has people at the ticket counters. It's pretty amazing. We've actually been in contact with him. We're trying to get this out to Dulles Airport, trying to work a deal with him so we can have it on display there. As a father of 3 kids who grew up with Legos, I know the pain involved with Legos. and it'll be a really good addition to the airport when it does come. I'm confident it will. We just need to work out the details. So where were we in 2023? A lot of people keep asking, a couple people before lunch asked me, are we back to where we were in 2019? We are actually above 2019. And I think after this year, you'll never hear me talk about 2019 again. These are good numbers. The growth is pretty phenomenal, and our airline partners are here, well represented here today. And every time I ask them, hey, when is the bubble going to burst? They keep saying, we're not seeing it. The travel demand in this region is just phenomenal. And we have such good partners in the airlines that provide such top-notch service. Customers want to keep flying into this area, and they do, and we appreciate that. So we see this growth going into 2024. We've got our budget being presented to the board next week for final vote, and we have growth in our 2024 budget for passengers going on the books once it gets voted on. So the other piece of this, a lot of people confuse, these are TSA checkpoint numbers. We have TSA checkpoint numbers. Those are the people that they funnel through their checkpoint every day. But then we have total enplanement numbers, and these are actually bodies on planes. And this includes the transfer folks, primarily from our United operation, transfer passengers that don't have to go back through security. They just go onto their new gate for their transfer connection. So even our total enplanement numbers are up from 2019. So we're very excited about going into 2024 and what we see for our passenger activity in the future. The other question that comes up periodically is, well, where are all these people traveling? Because you still have this sort of latent fear of traveling into the Asian area, into the Asian continent. And you can see here in 2023, Canada, Latin America, Africa, Middle East, Europe, those are all very strong. And we're ahead of 2019 significantly. but our Asian market is still down a little bit from where it was in 2019. But we do believe that over the next couple of years, that will change, and you'll see those orange boxes, orange yellow boxes turning into green, just like we have on the rest of the world. Again, the international demand for coming into this area is pretty phenomenal, and we're preparing for it. And I'll get into a little bit about this, about what we're doing to get ready for the future. In 2023, we also had some significant additions to our fleet. ITA to Rome, they took over for Alitalia. WestJet to Calgary, Norse Atlantic to London, Play to Reykjavik, and Air China just started a couple weeks ago. So we're glad to have all these airlines back. Now, some of them may not be continuing. The business is up and down, and a couple of them already scaled back some of their operations. But we do believe that there's going to be more growth coming into the region from new carriers. And our airline business development team is working very hard to attract new carriers into the area. And one of the ways they're doing that is through the Silver Line. And we're very excited about the Silver Line. And I'll be honest with you, and you probably remember me telling this to you before, I was a little skeptical about the ratio of who was going to be using the Silver Line when it first started. I assumed there's going to be more employees using it and less customers, but then that would ultimately transition. We've had a significant number of customers who use the Silver Line over the first year, and we hit our millionth customer back in October, and Kate was there, actually received or giving out the award. And it was pretty phenomenal because that was less than a year for it to be open and operating, and we had our millionth customer. And I think it's one of the busiest stations on the Silver Line. And then a month later, on November 15th, we actually had our 1-year anniversary, and we were handing out a lot of goodies to people. We had cookies and cakes and hats and towels and stuff. And what was interesting to me was the most requested item for giveaways was socks. And I don't know why, but people were coming up, and then you see that's Michelle Bay in the picture. They were coming up and grabbing socks out of her hands. So I don't know why people want socks so much, other than Dick Degtos, who loves the socks. So anyway, so next year, at the 2-year anniversary, we're going to have a lot more socks available. The other significant event that happened this year was our 2 new FBOs. And I say new contracts for FBOs. Signature was here for years, and they re-upped on their contract after a competitive bid. And then Atlantic joined us, and we were very happy to have Atlantic join us. And these FBOs see nothing but growth on the general aviation side, and we're very excited about what we're seeing. And if you go out by their ramp areas, you'll see how busy it is. There was a transition during COVID where a lot of people were traveling using general aviation as opposed to commercial aircraft. And we thought that would switch as we got back into commercial activity, but it's not. The general aviation business is still very strong. So we're excited about that. Both Signature and Atlantic have plans for development on their sites, and we're looking forward to seeing their first concepts coming out here in the next year or so. The other thing that we need for support of all these customers that we're having is new concessions. And we just awarded a new concessions contract to a development company, Freightport Freightport Concessions Company, and they will be starting on January 1st. That contract was approved by our board. We're very excited about this. But Marketplace Development was still in the process of finishing up some other concessions contracts, and these 4 concessions opened up this past year. Hudson Nonstop, Cava, Extreme Pita, and Rusty Taco. Hudson Nonstop is unique because they are a touchless store. You go in, you register your credit card or whatever you register, and you go in and it comes out, and there's nobody in the store to help you, or there's nobody in the store to check you out. There are people there to help you. It's a pretty unique concept. And so far so good, it's been well received by a lot of people. But then we have other concessions that we're working on. I'll get to that in a little bit. But besides these 4, we have 10 other concessions that are planning on opening within the first quarter of 2024. The other exciting event that happened this year, a couple months ago, was our Dominion Solar project kicked off. We had a groundbreaking ceremony for that out in our red lot. And you can see we had a lot of political figures there cheering this on. And Dominion has since started this project. They're starting the tree clearing part of the project, clearing out 850 acres of trees. So we're very excited about that. And just so you know, we, the airport, get no electrical benefit from that project. All that power goes into the Loudoun and Fairfax grid to serve the community. What we do get is we get some payment in kind with some electric vehicles and some other revenue sources. But all the electricity generated from that 850 acres all goes into the region. So we're pretty excited about that. Claire mentioned Capital One Lounge. She talked about all the good things about Capital One Lounge, and it's a beautiful facility. We really do love it. It's been well received, but there were some hiccups along the way. Just so you know, we are a 60-year-old facility, and as such, we have certain parameters and guidelines that we have to follow. And everything we do on the airport is governed to some degree by the State Historical Preservation Office. And Capital One knows that it was sometimes painful, but painful in a good way, right? It had us keep the integrity of the facility because it is a historic facility. And a lot of people, it's iconic. Everybody knows Dulles Airport, just like our gentleman, Mr. Pauls, who created the Lego sculpture. It is iconic, and we don't want to destroy that. So we work very closely with State Historic Preservation Office to make sure that we do that. So again, it took a little bit of extra time to get it through. I think it was well worth it, and we're very pleased with the product that we have there. But the big project for this year, which just started here in 2023 and hope to be done in 2026, is our new 14-gate concourse, Tier 2 Concourse East. I think we're working on that name to make it easier for everybody. Tier 2 Concourse East gets a little bit too complicated. But this is our first 14-gate addition, and this will be the beginning, ultimately, of the replacement of the CD concourse. We're really excited about this. We're looking forward to it. Opening in 2026, and on the tail end of that, after 2026, we're going to start Tier 2 Concourse West, or whatever we call it at that time. And the plan, again, is to replace our CD concourse ultimately, but this takes time. We have an active airport. Nothing happens quickly on an active airport. No matter what happens on any given day, we have to keep flying planes. So we have to be very careful when we do this construction to make sure that we're not forgetting about our day-to-day business in order to make construction a little bit more efficient. So we do have a 3-year schedule to get that done, and as of today, 2 months into it, we're on schedule, so we hope that continues. The other thing we're very proud of is our community relations. I can't emphasize this enough, that our team works very closely with Loudoun County and Fairfax County. By the way, we're more Loudoun than we are Fairfax. So Phyllis Randall always reminds me of that. And she also reminds Jeff McKay of that too. But we work very closely with Loudoun County, Fairfax County, as well as the town of Herndon, local schools, aviation groups. We love to brag about Dulles Airport whenever we get a chance. And people come, and my folks get a little upset with me sometimes because I encourage tours at the airport. And tours take time and effort, I get that. But we are a big part of the community, and the community is a big part of us. And we want to make sure that we support them whenever we can. So if people want us to come and speak, we come and speak. If they want a tour, we give them a tour. We share our airport to the full extent possible whenever we can. Last year, for instance, Dulles Day, it's an annual event. We raised with the Special Olympics of Virginia group over $530,000 for Special Olympics of Virginia. And then 2 weeks later, we had the runway race, which Mark Treadway helped us with, or we helped him with, another $100,000. So, we do whatever we can to foster these relationships. And in fact, we've already picked the date, or we're on the verge of signing the paper to pick the date for our next Dulles Day and our next runway race. So looking forward to that in September. So the other thing, and I've talked to you all about this before, is our staffing and labor issues in the area. And this year we had a workforce development expo. We invited 150 kids from 5 different high schools in Loudoun County. I don't think there was a Fairfax County school, there was all Loudoun County. Well received by the students. These are children who, some of them don't know what they want to do in life, right? They're high school kids. What high school kid knows what he wants to do in his life? But there were some that did, and they were very interested in the opportunities that we have at the airport. And for the ones that don't know what they want to do, they got an eyeful about what you can do in an airport. And again, we're very happy to show off our operation and to show off the job opportunities at the airport. And it's not just us. We have about 500 people on the Dulles team and another 200 or 300 public safety folks. But then we have another 24, 25, 26, I think the number's up actually to 28,000 jobs now at the airport. So if you don't want to work for the airport, there are other opportunities to work, and we encourage everybody to look at these opportunities moving forward, especially at the high school, college level, where they're still trying to figure out what they want to do long term. The other program we started this year was the Sunflower Program. And this was advocated for by our international carriers, particularly British. British is here. Oh yeah, Matt's here. They were advocating for this. This is a program where we give an identification badge or lanyard to folks that might have special needs. And our team, the Dulles team, everybody there recognizes that if you're wearing this special lanyard, you may need some help along the way in the process. That way you're not called out. It's not a sign, on your back, on your front saying, I need help. It's a very subtle way of identifying yourself or identifying a family member that they may need help along the way. And people can give that discreetly to the people. So it's been well received. We thank British Airways for advocating for this along the way. My team, Ruben Tien and Terry Lyric really pushed this, and we got this done, and we're very pleased about that. So the other piece of the airport, and I think it was mentioned earlier, is the Dulles Toll Road. And the Dulles Toll Road, as you know, is a significant corridor for the region. And we took over the toll road back in 2008, and the purpose of us taking that over was to pay for the construction of the Silver Line. The construction is done, it's been turned over to WMATA, now we're still paying the bill. So all the revenue from the DTR is used to pay those bills. But, when we took over the DTR, it was old school. It was dollar bills and coins. And we had to figure out how to make that more efficient for everybody's convenience. And the latest thing we did this year in March, we converted all of our coin machines. We got rid of all our coin machines, I should say, and we went to pay by plate. So we are entirely electronic tolling on the toll road. So it's either Easy Pass or our mobile apps or pay by plate. So far, so good. The system seems to be working well. We're very happy about it. And we're starting to see, after the pandemic, we're starting to see traffic pick up. But revenue is good on the toll road, so we are paying our bills. You don't have to worry about that. I mentioned careers and our job expo that we have for the young kids. In addition to that, with the help of the Committee for Dulles, we've held 2 job fairs on airport this year. And together we had about 600 job seekers looking for jobs. So we've been very blessed to have our companies. We have over 700 companies at the airport. Not all of them at the job fair at any one time, but we had a number of companies that came looking for employees. Like I said, 600 people looking for jobs, and we had a lot of matches between the employees, the lookers, people looking for jobs, and the companies looking for employees. We plan to have more job fairs this coming year, 2024. I mentioned our total employment, our total population. We do a population study every year. We just finished it. I just signed off on it a couple weeks ago. And our population numbers have increased. We were, like I said, down around the low 20s. Now we're up around 28,000 people associated with Dulles Airport that in one way or another earn a living off of Dulles Airport. So this includes the people that work 40 hours a week at the airport. This also includes the part-time workers. This also includes people that work outside the airport but are connected to the airport because they provide a service or supplies to the airport. So it's hard, you start thinking about all this and the work that we do every day. It's very humbling to know that the success of Dulles Airport isn't just a success for the airlines and for us and the people who work day to day. We have 28,000 people who work at the airport, and some of these jobs, quite frankly, are not high-paying jobs. And these people depend on the success of the airport, and they depend on the good work that the airport provides on a day-to-day basis. So I want to thank everybody who's involved for not only hiring the people you hire directly, but all the ancillary people that are hired. And you can see there the trend with United Airlines over the past several years. They've almost doubled, just United alone, since 2021 or 2022. And that's going to continue. And United's here, and I'm sure they could, if you have questions about it, they can tell you about their plans for growth in the coming years. But we continue to support all the opportunities, business opportunities that we have for anybody that wants to work at Dulles Airport. We also do all kinds of surveys. Every year we do surveys. I guess you guys are surveyed out by the end of the year about all the good things that happen, or bad things, I guess, too. But the 3 words that generally come to mind with people, or common themes, are convenient, clean, and efficient. And we pride ourselves in trying to make a 60-year-old building as clean and efficient as it can be. It's a challenge sometimes, but we do a very good job, and I have a very good team of people behind me that help keep it that way. We are well regarded in the industry. We're well regarded by FAA, TSA, CBP. Everybody talks about Dulles Airport, and everybody's very proud to work here, as we are too. And that leads us to where we are. You know, we end up with these awards periodically. This year we were ranked as the fastest growing international airport in the country. Very proud of that, and one of the top 10 best large airports in the country. Again, very proud of that. And it takes people to do this, and we're very cognizant of that, and we do whatever we can to make sure that the people that work at the airport understand the value they add to the community, value they add to the transportation network, and the value they add to just their neighborhood, to Fairfax and Loudoun County. So where are we going in 2024? I'll just give you a few headlines on where we are in 2024. We have more carriers coming here. Right now we have about 5 new carriers already on the books. And our airline business development team has worked hard to get these carriers here. Some are carriers that were here, but they're expanding their operations. Some are new carriers. Aeromexico, it is new in Mexico. They had stopped a few years ago, and now they're coming back. Sun Country is back and forth. Allegiant is expanding. Of course, Swiss and Lufthansa are here and are expanding their operations. So what do we do as far as servicing all our customers? I mentioned the 14 concessions that we're opening, either have opened in 2023 or in the first quarter of 2024. But then we have another 14 concessions that we will be opening or starting work on after this first round gets opened up. So the ones you see up here will be opening in the first quarter or a little bit later, and then another 14 concessions start after that. So there's a lot of work at the airport. You'll see a lot of construction barriers up and around, but our concessions team, led by Marketplace currently, but Freightport moving forward, is doing everything they can to keep our customers happy, because non-airline revenue is a big source of funding for the authority, and we look forward to any opportunity we can to expand that non-airline revenue base. The other thing we're pretty excited about is this year is the 40th anniversary of the DTR. It's hard to believe, and this was, I think, South Lakes High School marching, whatever they were, marching band, marching majorettes at the time. And I don't know who's in there. I don't know if Kate Hanley's in here somewhere. You can see the old toll booth side where it used to be just cash, and now, like I said, we're all electronic. So this is sort of a mixed bag, right? Nobody likes paying tolls, right? Everybody hates it. I just happened to go up to New York this past weekend to see our son, and you know, the tolls across the GW Bridge were just $20 or $25, and it was phenomenal. So nobody likes paying tolls. I was cursing the whole way back. But our tolls serve a purpose here, and we are paying for the Silver Line, and I think that's beneficial for the entire region. So, you know, we'll do whatever we can. And our folks have done a phenomenal job of keeping our costs contained, and our finance team, led by Andy Roundtree, has done a phenomenal job of reinvesting our money as much as he can to try and keep those toll rates down to the extent possible. But we do have a construction bill that we have to pay, and that's what we're working on. So some of the primary objectives that we're working on for 2024, safety and security always at the top of our list. Everything we do, our folks are always thinking safety and security. And especially in this day and age, with the environment out there, we always have to be on our toes. And our police department works hand in hand with TSA and CBP to make sure that we do maintain safety and security at all times. Aging infrastructure. I mentioned the 60-year-old facility. We had our 60th anniversary last year. And I also mentioned the new construction. Well, the new construction is not going to be done for 20 or 30 years by the time it's all done. So we have all these buildings that we have to take care of. So we are working hard. We have plans in place. We have people in place. We have funding. God willing, if the board approves our budget, we have funding available to take care of all our facilities and our infrastructure. One of the things that we have to worry about, you see in this picture, are the mobile lounges. And there's a love-hate relationship with these mobile lounges, right? So you either love them or hate them. I happen to love them. I think our board is sort of split on the love-hate part, and the entire team is sort of split. But at the end of the day, they're very efficient. And as an engineer, I like efficiency. We can move a lot of people very quickly, and they do come in handy. And until we get all the construction built out in 30 plus years, we have to keep these mobile lounges operating so we can move people quickly. The other thing is collaborating with our federal partners. And I mentioned TSA and I mentioned CBP. TSA, a phenomenal partner. They do everything they can to make sure that our checkpoint lines are as short as they are, or as short as they can be at all times. CBP struggles, and it's not because they're bad people. That they are a very good team. They have a very strong mission, a very vital mission. His problem, Mark Calixte is our new CBP port director. His problem, and the port director's before him problem, was staffing, trying to get officers into this region who want to stay at the airport. Being in the DC area, a lot of these officers come into CBP at Dulles. They love it, they learn a lot, and then they get promoted out to headquarters or to some of the other facilities that CBP has, so they're always struggling with that. They're doing everything they can to incorporate technology into their process, into their inbound process. Sometimes it's a little tricky, but we are seeing some gains on saturation rate for the apps that they use, and we think that over time more and more people will take advantage of those apps, because if you can use those, then you're going to get through CBP a lot quicker. The other one is managing high demand for gates, and I mentioned some of the airlines that are coming in next year and some of the airlines that came in 2023. Our problem right now is we have no gates during peak time, which is essentially 2 to 6 or 1 to 5 or 3 to 7, whatever. That 4-hour block in the afternoon is tough, and our gates are full, and we work hard to try and squeeze carriers in when they want to come in, but we try to the best of our ability to get them out of that window in the afternoon, because sometimes it's just very difficult to squeeze them in. Sustainability, always a hot topic with everybody, and with the solar farm starting in a couple of years, going active in a couple of years, we're really excited about that, like I said, and we're looking at other ways we can incorporate sustainability initiatives into our day-to-day work. Capital projects, I mentioned the Tier 2 Concourse East. It's on the airfield. There will be some impact. We're already closing taxi lanes down and moving some equipment around to try and make things easier for construction. But again, we have an operating airport that we have to take care of every day, so we have to work around a lot of this construction, or make the construction work around us. New federal mandates. We have 2 new mandates that we were saddled with this year. One is a safety management system through the FAA, and the other one is airline worker screening through the TSA. Both of them required significant effort on our part and resources to get these things going, but we had no choice. We had to get these things done and get these in place. The worker screening is well on its way to being a full-blown program, and safety management system through the FAA has another 2 years of development, but we're working on that. I mentioned the workforce development, making sure that we have people not just for our jobs, but for the entire community, because we need to make sure that we have people going forward. And that includes FAA and TSA and CBP as well. So we're looking at ways to attract people at the airport in the future. And then I mentioned the Dulles Toll Road. We still have some work to do on the toll road. We have to make some improvements out there, just on the infrastructure for the toll road, to make sure that we can keep this running. I think our lease ends up 2054, is that right? 2054, so we have to keep this thing going and functioning the way that it's intended to function. And again, finally, is to make sure that Dulles is the airport of choice in the region. We have BWI to the north, we have Reagan to the east of us, all with their different pros and cons, but I believe that Dulles Airport is the way to go, and we are doing everything we can to make sure that people in this region, in the DMV, make Dulles their choice of airports. And in closing, I'll show you a picture, one of my favorite pictures. This is just to give you an idea of the size and scope of Dulles Airport compared to our other 2 airports. National Airport is there in green, BWI is in yellow, and you see the size of Dulles compared to those 2 airports. We're very excited about the opportunities at Dulles Airport. We have a lot of people that are interested in some of this land on the outskirts of our red zone there, and we have to be very careful about what we can lease out and what we can't lease out, because at the end of the day, we are an airport. We got to keep running as an airport. But you start thinking about the size of this airport, 12,000 plus acres, and what it takes to run this airport. And I have a fantastic team of people. I go to sleep. I don't worry when I go to sleep at night because of the folks that I have working for me. Everybody is committed to the success of Dulles Airport at every level. And it's like I said, it's very humbling to see the work that's done at the airport and at the Dulles Toll Road every day. Nobody knows what we do, right? Nobody knows what you guys do at the airport. It just sort of gets done. So thank you very much for everything you do. Thank you for the support that you give Dulles Airport. We will continue to do whatever we can to support the community and bring business to the community with a smile on our face. Thank you very much. Does anybody have any questions while I'm up here? Yes, sir.
I don't have a question. I got an observation. I was coming down out of Herndon, going towards going south, going north, and I noticed that there was actually 3 planes landing at the same time at Dulles Airport on runway 19, and I thought that was amazing.
Yep. Yeah.
Does that happen often? All 3 runways?
Yeah, Terry can probably check that or check me on this later, but the FAA actually announced this morning that they just got approval for a new ILR landing, 3 simultaneous landing. So yeah, it's great. It's wonderful to see. Yeah. Yes, Mike.
Richard, just want to comment in the presence of the committee for Dulles. We had a presentation earlier on Capital One Lounge, and with gratitude, Senator Boysko is here today. She put in a bill actually in the last General Assembly that granted a permission for the Commonwealth of Virginia for the liquor license for Capital One Lounge. So,
Yes, sir.
update on the master plan statement.
Yeah, sure. So we had our second public session back in October, and there'll be another public session in, I think it's first quarter, might be second quarter of 2024 to try and wrap that up. But we did receive some comments from the public, and the planners and engineers are starting to assemble all that. So, you know, long term, I think by the end of 2024 it should be published, maybe 2025. Again, you know, you look at the size of the facility and trying to put a master plan together for a facility like this, especially with the growth projections in the area and the growth projections from the airlines, it takes a little bit of time, and we want to make sure we're doing it right moving forward. Anything else? Thank you.
Well, usually I don't get so excited about a PowerPoint, but that one was pretty exciting. I don't know if everybody caught it, but there's a lot going on around Dulles Airport. We've got a new concourse, we've got solar. Richard, I can't even remember all the things you said. I'm so excited. I just wanted to mention an experience I had this morning, tying sort of beautifully everything together. I went to visit one of our newest board members, Caldia, there at the Capital One Lounge. She's working for Prime Classic Cab, managing that lounge. And I happened to ask Caldia there at the lounge when we were walking around. I said, hey, did you end up hiring anybody at that job fair that we had? Because we talked at the job fair over the summer. And she said, yeah. Actually, looking at the front desk right now, all 3 of those people were people that we met at the job fair, and they've all been great employees. So, how wonderful just to sort of have this moment of Richard reflecting on how involved Dulles Airport has been in the community outside, and how much interaction we've had recently as Committee for Dulles. So, if you want to catch up and stay up on all that exciting developments happening in 2024 and stay up with us, please join the Committee for Dulles. So thanks again to our sponsors, our luncheon sponsors today. And I'll just read them out again. We have our annual luncheon sponsors: Loudon Economic Development, DWC Holdings, Fairfax Economic Development Authority, Clear. And then today we had our 2 sponsors, HDR and Mount McDonald. Thank you also to GAM for the program. So again, join the Committee for Dulles. We're going to have a next luncheon on Thursday, January 24th or 5th? 25th. So we have Chairs McKay and Phyllis Randall, so that's a local powerhouse program to see there.
We've invited the chair-elect.
And the chair-elect principal. If we can get that, that would be wonderful. But we'll see. Well, we've already got a wonderful program with 2 chairs coming on the 25th and maybe 3. So, anything else, Scott, before we close? Raffle.
Well, Raffle, can we take just 1 second, Senator Boysko?
Senator Boysko, please join us. There is something going on.
Thank you so much for giving me a moment. So in the General Assembly, it is customary to celebrate milestones that take place in Virginia. And one is very important, that Dulles Airport is now 60 years old. So the entire Senate and I sponsored the resolution to commend Washington Dulles International Airport on its 60th anniversary. And I wanted to present it to Richard.
They're gonna think I'm cheating. What is this? I don't know. You saw me drop it in there. I have no idea what that is. All right. So hey, listen. We are about to do our final event here, and then we'll send you all back to work. Mark, you're gonna come over?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Here we go.
It's not that one.
Not this one.
That's the drone.
That's the drone.
The drone.
No, we did the drone last.
Yeah, they're last.
All right, we're doing the drone last, so you drone lovers, hang on. Okay, real quickly, I was going to tell us the toll road story, but I'm not going to. Okay, I will, real quickly. Back in the day when I was at the Airports Authority, the marketing and communications side, we were talking about the toll road, and then we were going to start doing surface transportation. I said, oh, I think I've heard of this new thing, you know, where you don't really need quarters of dollars or anything. It's called open-toed rolling. And our CEO at the time said, no, it's open road tolling. Same thing, okay. All right, real quickly, for you dog lovers, we have a great dog basket, and the winner is Peter.
605-478.
605-478. Hopefully a dog owner.
No way.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. The second thing is a boozy basket. Say no more. The winner is. It's a giant bottle of Jameson's. I know it's one.
All right, we got 800-4289.
It's a red ticket.
Red ticket.
It doesn't mean anything, just that it's red.
4289.
All right, there we go. Okay, the last prize is from my neighborhood, an Italian store basket, a couple bottles of wine, really nice. An old Milano stuff.
Yes. 605-313.
605-313.
Okay, and now for the last one, a drone. We're going to have everybody flying a drone and giving these things away. All right, so for this drone, we have 682-637.
It's
gonna be present. 637. 682-637.
They must not have come today.
Might be in my pocket. All right, 682-638. Thanks everybody. Have a wonderful afternoon. Happy holidays. And we'll see you in the new year. Thank you.
Leave your name tag.